Take the 43rd Street exit off I-805 and you'll hit a ramp that leads nowhere. It was supposed to be part of a freeway that Jacob Dekema, the man who designed San Diego's highway system, called essential. Instead, it's the only piece of Route 252 that was ever built. 66 acres were taken and 280 homes were demolished. And a Caltrans engineer called it a white man's freeway against a black community. Here's what the receipts show. In the 1960s, traffic engineers had a problem. The merge where I-5 meets I-805 near National City was backing up, because trucks, commuters, and through traffic were all funneled into the same spot. So they drew a straight line through it. Route 252 would have cut east-west through southeast San Diego to give all that traffic a bypass, and planners said it would solve the whole problem in less than 2 miles. In 1963, the route picked up its legislative number, and in 1965, the California Transportation Commission adopted the full alignment that ran straight through a neighborhood called Southcrest. Jacob Dekema was the man who designed that system. From 1955 to 1980, he was the district director for the State Division of Highways. His philosophy was simple. He said they found out where people were coming from and where they were going. Then they sketched a straight line from A to B, and that's where they tried to build a freeway. Route 252 was that straight line. The problem was the neighborhood it cut through. On April 30, 1968, the San Diego City Council met to sign off on the plan, and the vote was unanimous. The council approved the route, and Caltrans moved in immediately. The residents didn't get a vote. The state had the legal right to do it. Eminent domain lets a government agency seize private property for public use, and the highway was public use on paper. So Caltrans went street by street, and by the time they were done, they had cleared 66 acres and demolished 280 homes, while hundreds of families were forced to leave. The homeowners who had lived there the longest paid the highest price. Southcrest wasn't empty land waiting to be developed. It was a thriving black neighborhood where people owned their homes, ran small businesses, and sent their kids to school. Nobody there was asked before the council voted. The city seated Leon Williams on the city council in 1969 to represent District 4, which included Southcrest, and he became the first black council member that San Diego had ever seated in its history. He started organizing immediately. Williams hired community organizers and recruited block captains so every resident knew exactly what City Hall was planning. He didn't want anyone surprised by a vote they never got. Southcrest was one of the few places in the city where people of color could actually own their own homes and businesses, and the freeway would cut right through the middle of it. In 1973, activists in Southeast San Diego founded the Black Federation, and stopping Route 252 topped their agenda from day one. They were done asking permission. They skipped the signs. They knew the council would only respond to hard data. The Federation put together economic surveys showing exactly how much tax revenue would vanish once the cleared land sat empty, and they documented the businesses that would disappear. The same year, the agency had sunk $4.4 million into the 43rd Street interchange. The state wasn't stopping. In 1975, the city council voted again, and this time it ran 6-3 to stick with the plan even though opposition had grown. The council gave Caltrans the green light, and crews built the I-805 ramps that year, while the 10-story concrete structure went up over a neighborhood that had already lost 280 homes and 66 acres. But organizing kept going, and by 1978, the same council that voted unanimously in 1968 voted to reverse its support and officially kill the project. The freeway was dead politically. The state still owned the cleared land, and the ramp was already standing. The California Transportation Commission officially canceled Route 252 in 1980, but 66 acres of cleared land sat in Caltrans' hands with nowhere to go while the paperwork took 6 more years to move. In 1986, the State Transportation Commission ordered Caltrans to sell the land back to San Diego. National City tried to revive the freeway, sued for the land, then dropped the suit in exchange for $10 million in traffic improvements that San Diego had to cover. That same year, the state told Caltrans to abandon the freeway and sell all 66 acres back. But selling land taken with federal highway money isn't simple, and approvals dragged on for years. The land sat empty. In 1993, the San Diego Association of Governments and Caltrans planned the official removal because the abandoned land was slated for residential use instead of a highway that would never be built. In 1994, the state legislature passed AB 3132, Chapter 1220, deleting the route from the state highway system entirely. A highway dropped off the books, but the ramp at 43rd Street stayed put because nobody ordered it torn down and the concrete cost too much to remove. Behind the shopping center at the end of that ramp, the abandoned right-of-way is still there, and from the air you can still see the exact path the freeway would have cut through the neighborhood. Dekema would later say the city's freeway system was half-built because the money ran out. But the money didn't run out on Route 252. $4.4 million had already been spent on the 43rd Street interchange. The concrete was already poured. What ran out was the political will to keep taking from a community that refused to be taken from. By the year 2000, the corridor had filled in again. It didn't fill in with asphalt. With hundreds of new homes, water and sewer lines, parks, and the neighborhood's first grocery store in more than 30 years, the area finally got back some of what the freeway plan took away. The clearance had turned the corridor into a food desert after it scattered the original businesses. Cesar Chavez Elementary School went up on land that Caltrans cleared for a highway, and Northgate Market opened at the end of the off-ramp to serve families who had waited decades for a grocery store nearby. Southcrest Trails Neighborhood Park opened in 2018 on the same corridor, and at the center sits a public art installation called A Place to Call Home, designed by artists Ingram Ober and Marisol Rendon. The artists interviewed residents and photographed them, pronouncing the names their community has been known by. The names they spoke were Southcrest, Shelltown, Cholas Creek, and Home. Those portraits became composite images, then molds, which produced roughly 380 concrete bas-relief sculptures that now form a chorus of community members reclaiming their land and their identity. You can walk through that park today and see the faces of the people who refuse to let their neighborhood disappear. The 43rd Street ramp still stands, useless to traffic engineers, but it's the most honest monument in the city. It says exactly what happened, and nobody who drives under it can pretend they don't see the proof. The state took the land, the neighborhood fought back, and what grew back wasn't a freeway but a school where kids learn, a park where people gather, and a grocery store where families shop. The ramp at 43rd Street isn't a mistake. It's a receipt, a record of 66 acres taken, a freeway canceled, and a community that came back on its own terms. More case files are coming where the documents tell you what actually happened. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one, and send this to someone who thinks infrastructure just happens.